we'll discuss something very important, your GST audit preparation. So this is your fourth year GST going on, and department has not actually of the SSC. So what will happen is likely that in the coming days the audit will start. So audit means the verification of your records from the department perspective, because the entire GST is based on the premise of self assessment. That what we are thinking is whatever the SSC is filing in the return is correct and verified. Right. So I am audible to everyone, na?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, sir.
Right. So we'll discuss in detail that how you should prepare yourself for audit. And I believe your audit does not start the day you get notice. The audit starts from the day your transaction starts. Right. So your preparation for audit should start once you raise an invoice, once you take an ITC. You should not wait. The department will send a notice and then the preparation should start. So this entire presentation is based on the premises that how do we effectively complete or conclude a departmental audit without any issues, hiccups, or a undue penalty or demand, right? I agree. If there is a shortfall in sales, you have to pay tax with interest. If there is an unclaim of ITC or wrong ITC claim, a reversal will be there. That is taken care. That in case of your mistake, department will recover that. But there are certain cases where even though you are not at mistake or fault, you might land up in paying demand or tax or penalty, right? So we'll see. So what we'll today discuss is your what is departmental audit, legal requirement of it, what are the documents that department will ask from you, what are the reconciliation or data you should prepare for that audit, and what are the important point that you should always take care as a businessman or as a person who is handling GST, right? And we'll discuss in detail on the not the legal part but the your technical part or the operational part of it while we discuss on your audit preparation, right? So mostly what is GST audit? So if you say law defines simple, audit means examination of record, return or other documents. So department either they will directly or through any person appointed by them will examine your records. Records means books of accounts, returns and other documents, right? So what they will verify? They will verify turnover declared, means what is your sales. Second, they will verify your taxes paid. So as per your sales, whether you are paying correct taxes. They will also verify if you have claimed any refund, it is a correct refund or not. And foremost and important is your input tax credit availed. Your entire audit will be based on your input credit and also based on what is the tax you have paid. So whether you have escaped any turnover to be declared in the return, right? That scenario will also come where as per you the tax is not payable, as per department the tax is payable. So the interpretation issue may also come later on subsequently. So this is where you should keep your eyes and ears open and see what is happening in your industry. So if any your peers are getting notices on any issue, just check whether you are also under the same preview or whether you are also akin to get that kind of notice, right? So you see your business around you and your business as well. So the audit will verify the correctness of what? Turnover declared. So GSTR 1, GSTR 3B, right? ITC 04 also, if you are filing ITC 04, right? If you are filing ISD, then GSTR 6. So all the details you have to keep. Taxes paid means monthly return filed in GSTR 3B, challan and payment made through DRC 03 means if you have paid any amount after filing of return, the DRC 03. Refund claim means refund filed, right? RFD 01 or application filed with the government. So entire backup of the refund, how you have arrived at a refund working. ITC availed, so any ITC availed in GSTR 3B. So government is concerned about your ITC availed in GSTR 3B, not ITC in the books. Why? Even though there is ITC in the books, there is a chances that department will ask you to pay tax on that, but you can always say that ITC is booked in the books, but it is not carried forward in the returns. Right. Next, very important topic is what are the likely documents that department will ask from you while they will conduct an audit, and why they will ask for these documents. So I also try to discuss the interconnection between document being asked and what are the data you should verify in those documents before giving it to department. Right. So we'll just quickly run through. First is department will ask for annual account, that is balance sheet, PL, notes to accounts, cash flow statement and audit report. Why? Based on this, they will verify whether you have paid correct tax or not. So what is the turnover, that is as per your PL, right? Notes to accounts, breakup of your other income, breakup of your sales, or audit report, any comments are there from the auditor point of view, whether auditor has qualified that GST payable for the 10 lakh rupees is not paid. So this is the basic for which they will ask for annual accounts. They will also ask for annual return and GST audit report which is filed with the department along with annexure. So they will also ask for detailed annexure. They will ask for sale, purchase register, stock transfer register. So along with your debit note and credit note for sale and purchase. They will also ask for tax paid under RCM and how you have arrived at this figure of payment of tax under RCM, and out of the tax paid how much you have claimed as ITC. Right. Department will also ask for GSTR 1 and 3B, though you will always contend that all these details are available with the department, but then these are your standard requirement from the department where they will ask GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. So it is a standard practice that you should download filed copy of GSTR 1 and 3B from GSTN portal along with final Excel backup of your return. It is very important. There should not be final, semi-final, final 1, final 2, final 3 and all that backup is not matching with your return filed. So the backup of the return is very important. That should be a final backup, right? Next is your tax payment challan. So monthly tax, whatever you pay, keep the challan handy. Download the tax paid challan from the GSTN portal, right? Then department will also ask for HSN of your goods. What are the goods you manufacture or sell? What are the HSN codes? Why? They want to verify whether you are correctly paying the rate of tax on those HSN. So suppose there is HSN 4901 which is exempted, books, supply of books. So in that case there is no issue. Then there is HSN for plastic, but you are collecting 12% tax instead of 18% tax. So then department will say you have collected 12% instead of 18, 6% you pay. They will also ask for top 10 list of supplier and customer just to see whom you are dealing with, right? They will ask for income tax return, tax audit report, transfer pricing report. All this report has ratio, analysis and details of your expenses in, right, payment of taxes, date of payment of taxes and all. So these details is required by department to cross verify your GST return with your income tax and tax audit report. Recently, government has integrated DT and CBIC has integrated both the portals. So your income tax and GST data in some days will be interlinked, right? Then detail of export and import. So export with payment of tax or without payment of tax. Import, whether you have paid correct tax. So right, likely we have seen like in GSTR 2 where table D is implemented now. So import from outside India, which is import of goods on which IGST is paid or not, can also be verified. They will also see copy of agreement and contract. Why they will see? Whether there is any free supply material involved, whether tax is paid on that, whether subsidy element is there or not, right? Whether there is any other consideration flowing, right? You will say in a contract that you supply me 10 bags and I supply you 5 bags and will not bill. Or any contract, any condition like this in the contract whereby the transaction on which GST is payable you are not paying and setting of the transaction. So all the details can be seen through agreement and contract. Then any pending payment for creditors. So if any pending payment of creditor is there which is not paid beyond 180 days from the date of invoice, as per rule 37, reversal is required. So whether you have done the reversal or not. Then if you are a registered company, copy of memorandum and article of association, your GST registration certificate with place of business. Why it is important? They will see whether if you have issued any sale invoice, whether that place of business is registered in your GST certificate, or if you have claimed any ITC for any address, whether that address is registered in your GST certificate or not. If it is not registered, they may disallow your input credit. Copy of inward register matching with electronic credit ledger. So they will say purchase register you bring and match that with your electronic credit ledger with whatever taxes you have claimed as a input credit. Right. Next, they will ask for details of refund claim filed and refund claim sanctioned, refund rejected as well. If the refund is rejected, in which return you have taken the recredit in the electronic credit ledger. They will ask for trial balance. Why? Trial balance has detail of all the expenses. Expenses like gift, write-off, right? Or any insurance claim received. All that details will be there in the trial balance. Any foreign exchange earning or any outgo or any import of goods, import of service, all that details they will see to verify whether royalty payment, like royalty payment to outside India, whether you have paid GST or not, right? Then they will also ask for ITC availed in the current financial year and subsequent financial year matching with your GSTR 3B. They will also ask for ITC availed for previous year in the current year, means any invoices which is dated in the previous year but in the books it is booked in the current financial year, right? Then they will ask for reversal of ITC. They will say just tell us the detail of your work contract, which is addition to building, any flooring work done, any bathroom fitting, tile work done, right? Any food and beverage, any purchase of car for the director, insurance on car of director, all the detail they will ask. Non-payment of supplier I have already told in the previous slide. Rule 42, 43 reversal if applicable they will ask you. They will also ask GSTR 2A statement matching with your 3B, right? Then they will ask for reconciliation statement. Subsequent slide will see what exactly reconciliation statement they will ask. Why I am putting a stress on all this? Because if you don't prepare data in advance, you will end up chasing your deadlines and department may complete your audit based on data available. So what are the reconciliation that department might ask? They will ask for reconciliation between GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. So turnover declared in GSTR 1, turnover declared in GSTR 3B, tax declared, tax paid, whether that is matching on monthly basis. Then one step ahead they will ask you match your return with books. So GSTR 1, GSTR 3B with books of accounts, is it matching? Then they will ask for electronic credit ledger as per books and as per your GST portal, whether that is matching, right? So in any month your electronic credit ledger CGST HGST balance is 10,000 and in the portal it is 12,000 rupees. They will say reverse 2,000 and pay interest, right? They will ask for RICO of your financial and returns, turnover RICO. That is a part of your GST reconciliation statement as well. Even though if your turnover is less than 5 crore, this detail may be required by them. They will ask obtain the turnover as per books and turnover declared in the returns and whether any short payment is there. So they will ask with interest. New thing they will ask is e-way bill versus books. So if your turnover data as per e-way bill is 1 crore and your GST data is 80 lakh rupees, then they will say that 20 lakh rupees short payment is there. So one reason for the difference will be your stock transfer within the same state. So if you have two GSTN, you might have issued a delivery challan within the same state. Second will be supply within same PAN, different GSTN in different states. So that turnover will not come in your books of accounts, but the turnover will come in the GST returns, right? Then e-way bill versus returns reconciliation they might ask, or you might get a notice for this that your e-way bill generated on the portal is 10 crores, return is 8 crores. So many people got notice, I think till last year also on this kind of mismatches. They will ask for monthly tax paid and liability return. So whatever in GSTR 1 you are showing as tax payable, whether you are paying in 3B or not. Next, input credit return. What they will detail, they will ask. They will say input credit which is claimed in the purchase register or inward register and on GSTR 3B. So there can also be a scenario where your total credit for the entire year is matching. Means 1 lakh rupees as per books and 1 lakh rupees as per return. But when they will verify on the monthly basis, they will say that in any particular month you have availed 5,000 rupees excess credit as per your books. So on that you pay interest, right, at 24%. On total basis for the entire year you might have no difference, but monthly basis you might have a difference, right? They will also ask for reconciliation of ITC and 2A and books. So there can be scenario where they will identify the invoices for which supplier might not have filed the return. So they will ask you to reverse. They will also ask, based on verification of your books, they will say that there are 20 invoices which are ineligible, but you have not reversed in the return. So reverse along with 24% interest, right? They might ask for bifurcation of your input in input service and capital goods. If it is possible, you can supply. If it is not possible, you can tell them that your software does not recognize bifurcation of input service and capital goods, right? They can also ask you to bifurcate your input credit between taxable and exempt supply. So suppose you have two business. One business is for IT service, second business is for your rice supply, right? Rice is exempted. So if you are having a security service in the same building, then they will ask to reverse proportionate ITC as attributable to your rice business, right? So common supply ka reversal they can ask. Any specific supply for exempt business will not be eligible as a input credit. They can also ask for detail of reversal of ITC invoice wise detail. They can ask for copies of the invoices on which you have reversed any ITC, like purchase of cement for flooring, purchase of roof for building office, factory building, all the details, purchase of car for managing director, not eligible as input credit. All that reversal they will ask. They will ask for reconciliation of ITC between portal and books. Any excess claim because of this non-reconciliation will come with a reversal of ITC plus 24% interest. And also there are chances that they may issue a show cause notice for penalty, right? Then RCM also reconciliation they will ask. And what are the reconciliation they will ask for RCM? They will say RCM as per books, what is the RCM as per GL, ledger, and how much you have paid in the returns. So RCM, you remember one thing, for RCM, the time of supply for payment of goods in case of reverse charge is 30 days from the date of invoice. In case of service, it is 60 days from the date of invoice. So in case GTA invoice you have received, you can discharge RCM liability within 60 days from the date of invoice, right? So generally we have seen that people think that 30 days only, it is 60 in case of service, where invoice is issued by the supplier, right? Department will also ask at the year end, what is the RCM liability which is pending to be paid, right? Then they will ask for ITC availed on RCM. So there are, before 13th October 2017, people were paid RCM from unregistered purchase also. And there are cases where they paid RCM on purchase for medical, purchase for food, or any amount given for food to the workers and all. And they have claimed ITC on that. So ITC is not eligible on that. So the department will also ask for a reconciliation statement of ITC on which RCM we have not availed. Then list of items they will ask on which generally you don't avail any ITC. Separate details will be asked for unregistered supplier purchase up from 1st July 2017 to 13th October 2017. They can also ask for import of service on which you have paid RCM. So import of service means you have taken a subscription in England for which you are paying in your pound to the overseas company on which you should discharge GST, right? Second, you have a group company located in USA, parent company, from which you have received service or any service which you have received, on that RCM is payable, right? Next, they will also ask for other information like refund card details. They will ask refund, how much you have filed, how much is claimed, how much sanctioned, what is the balance that is to be sanctioned, any rejection. So what are the reasons for rejection that they will ask? What are the reasons for rejection? They will ask in the refund also. So refund order copy will be sought by them. Any difference between books and returns, they will ask for reasons. So they will ask that reconcile that difference between books and returns. They will ask for MIS on GSTR 1 and 3B filed, date of filing of return also. So in case there is a delay in filing of GSTR 3B, they can ask for payment of interest details on delay in filing of GSTR 3B wherever you have paid cash tax in cash. And in case of RCM, interest automatically is payable because RCM is paid always in cash. They can also ask for stock transfer details between same GSTN and in the same state and outside state. So same PAN, different GSTN, any stock transfer if you have done, they will ask for details. They can also get into valuation. So they will also ask what is the valuation mechanism. So what is the rate that is which you supply to same company? What is the rate that you supply to outsider, right? They will ask for export register, means shipping bill detail, port code, and your invoice number, invoice date, and then your shipping bill number, shipping bill date, port code, all details they will ask for export, right? They will also ask for details of debit and credit note issued within time, means up to September of the next year. For 17-18 it was 31st March 2019, remember. For 18-19 it is, as of now it is September 19 only, right? So any debit note or credit note which is issued beyond the time, they will disallow that, right? Return to supplier. So if you have purchased any goods on which you have claimed ITC and then subsequently that the goods are returned to supplier, so they will ask whether you have reversed the ITC or not. So they will ask for that. Any financial debit note, credit note, they will ask for details why the financial debit note, credit note is issued. They will ask for ineligible ITC. Specifically they will ask whether you have written off any stock or any you have non-moving or damaged stock. They will ask for details of insurance claim lost. So have you lodged any insurance claim? Have you got any money? So why you have got the money? Because you have damage in stock. So if the stock is damaged, then input credit related to that stock is to be reversed, because your section 17(5) says input credit attributable to goods damaged, stock damaged, lost, written off or destroyed is to be reversed, right? Any scheme or sample distributed, again here the input credit reversal may ask. Free supply. So any free supply material given to your sample, like to your customers and prospective customer, ITC reversal will be required. ITC on food and beverage, construction, rent a cab, not eligible. GST paid on purchase of motor vehicle for director or employee, which is below 13-seater, is not eligible. Any insurance and repair for that purchase of motor vehicle or any motor vehicle on which ITC is not eligible, on that insurance also you will not get ITC. Any ITC paid on employee insurance, mediclaim, health insurance. If you have any claim of ITC, so they will ask for September return. I am giving an example. In case of September return, they will ask, and they will see that invoice for April 18 is there. They will disallow that credit because that credit does not pertain to the time limit which is allowed as per GST law. Now, key focus area, like I am going for departmental audit, but before going, what should be my key focus area or key strength or area on which I should put special attention, right? Number one, break your supply into taxable and exempt and how you are showing in your return, right? Whether you are correctly disclosing the supplies in your return. Second, mix and component supply. So what is component supply? Dispatch of goods, insurance and freight is your component supply. What is mix supply? If you are selling any hamper on which you have purchased dry fruit, you have purchased chocolates, you have purchased perfume and you have mixed a sample. In that case, it will come under mixed supply. So taxability for mixed supply is the entire basket will be taxable at the highest rate. Means if the sweet is 5%, dry fruit is 5%, and perfume is 18%. So entire basket will be chargeable at 18%. So you have to see whether your supplies are coming under this kind of issues, right? Then reversal, you have to see whether like for your mutual fund and SIP, any investment or any income from mutual fund SIP, 1% common credit reversal is required. So just see whether you have any income like that. Error in return and subsequent rectification. So always remember, each and every month the return should match with your books of accounts, because any rectification subsequently will ask for interest payment. Then salary or reimbursement or payment made to directors. So there is a clarification on this. Any salary or reimbursement or payment made to fixed whole-time director or employed director, GST is not payable. But any reimbursement or any commission or any sitting fees paid to independent director or non-whole-time director, GST is applicable on reverse charge basis. RCM on import as well as ocean freight. Here there is a Gujarat High Court judgment, and then the department has told that they will refund if you have paid any GST on ocean freight. So as of now, ocean freight is an issue where on the GST is not applicable. Then what is the treatment of capex? So if you have capitalized any asset, like you have made a factory building, you have capitalized, whether you have claimed GST on that. If you have installed a plant, whether you have claimed GST on that. So that your capex decision should also base on whether the ITC is eligible or not. If the ITC is eligible, capitalize the net part, means taxable value. If the ITC is not eligible, capitalize with GST. So you will take the benefit. Transaction with group company and valuation. So it is very important to understand the transaction with group company and what is the valuation mechanism. So always remember, your arm's length transaction, arm's length pricing is important here. You should not undervalue or overvalue your invoices. When you have a comparable invoice, so any goods you are selling to your parent company or your group company at 50 rupees and same goods you are selling to outside at 100 rupees, department may come and question your valuation method also. They will ask for copies of invoice, debit note, credit note, delivery challan. It is very important for you to keep the copies, right? And when I say copies, original, duplicate, triplicate, then date of invoice properly signed and all that things, it should be there. There's a very, very small thing. GST law says display of GST certificate in the prominent place in place of business, right? GST number should be mentioned in the nameplate. If these two things are not there, GST law says 25,000 rupees under CGST, 25,000 under SGST is a penalty. No, non-negotiable. So they will come for audit. Straight away they will give you notice for penalty for these two items, right? Then time of supply, April invoice reported in September, interest is applicable. Place of supply, instead of IGST and CGST, you have paid, instead of SGST and CGST, you have paid IGST. Again, that place of supply issue will come and you have to pay correct tax and you have to get the refund of wrong tax paid, right? So again, this will become your issue. Treatment or advance on goods and services. So in case you supply any service and you receive advance, as of now, GST is to be paid in advance. For goods, after 15th November 2017, advance on goods is removed. So you don't have to pay GST on advance received on goods. But on service, it is there. Then ERP, how the entire ERP is customized. Then they will also have a walkthrough with your ERP system. Whether the ERP is capturing all the information, whether there is any issue in the ERP itself or not, right? Additional point for GST audit, the risk area is your foreign currency transaction, expenditure and receipt. So receipt, they will see whether it involves any import of goods or import of service, right? Bad debt written off. So if you have written off any bad debt, they will ask for reversal on the input also, right? Liabilities written back. You have not made any payment to supplier. Then they will say 180 days past, liability written back, you don't have to pay to supplier, reverse the ITC, rule 37. They will also see the remarks in your audit report, right? Income tax audit report, transfer pricing audit report. They may also gather your information from third parties. They will go to your customer during that audit. They will come and then they will verify details from you, right? So these are your basic thing which is to be taken care while handling your GST audit or departmental audit. This is your minimum points which you should prepare in advance before you receive a notice for audit. Generally, you will get a notice for audit for 2 years or 3 years, like 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 or till date. So it is not that they will come and audit for 1 year only. As of now, if they will issue a notice, the notice will be a detailed notice. Friends, thank you for watching our video, and we hope that you enjoyed this learning series GST with Tax Marvel. And don't forget to share, like and subscribe our videos, and do also tell your friends or colleagues who want to make their career in GST or want to get updated on GST aspects. Thank you, friends. Thank you.